it's now time for JAMPRO Connect, and in this episode, we are going to be exploring business opportunities for those looking to expand their businesses into the US market. I am joined by manager of the North American Regional Office, Shane Angus, and he will provide insights and market analysts on how to successfully navigate this transition. Welcome, Mr. Angus. Mr. Angus, are you there? It does not seem we have Mr. Angus there yet. We hope to have with him shortly, so we can... Hello, Mr. Angus, are you there? No, I still don't hear Mr. Angus, unfortunately. Well, listeners, as I said, we're going to be exploring how you can take your business into the US market, which is quite an important topic, especially as things in terms of overseas trade heats up, where the US is essentially declaring a trade war on many of its allies, including Canada, the European Union, and Mexico, as well as China. So this could present a few opportunities for us in Jamaica. Hello, Mr. Angus. Hello, how are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good.
Welcome to the program. So as I said, we are going to explore the topic of getting Jamaican businesses into the US market. And I want to ask you, what are the major factors which can determine whether a company is ready to enter that market?
A company should have a plan when entering a market. So we like to see company have a full growth plan as to what they want to do.
And as part of that growth plan, explain it. At what point do they reach that fulsome position where they can say, yes, I'm ready to make that expansion where I feel that my product can be of value, not only to the US market, but to bring those dividends back home here?
Yeah, so we tend to work with these companies a lot and assessing where they are in terms of their production. Now, the US and Canada is a big market. So many companies want to enter these markets, but remember the demands for the product here is very high. So we try to have companies to understand that, listen, if you're entering this market, you must be at a particular level and willing to consistently supply into these markets, because it's kind of it's a rough situation for distributors when they enter into contracts with suppliers, and after 1 or 2 months they can't get the products and they have to find substitute quickly to fill those gaps. So we try to understand the production. We have our companies understand. You need to understand your supply chain, where your products are coming from, ensure you have this consistency and is able to meet the contractual agreements coming into the market.
Okay. And in your experience, what are some of the common mistakes made by companies when they're trying to make that transition and trying to enter into the US market?
Well, some companies are very eager to get in. So one of the main mistakes they make is they try to sign up with the very first person who says, I'll sell your products in the market. And when they do that, sometimes they have distributors who are not really the type of distributor you want to promote and push your product. So many times you find companies, they've signed up with the wrong distributor, the wrong type of companies, and their product eventually die or they get nowhere. Secondly, another common mistake is entering these markets is very competitive. So budget is always important. A marketing budget is very, very important. So a lot of companies tend to just want to send the product up to the distributors and leave it. While distributors complain that, listen, we need to get some funding or some support from the companies locally to promote these products. And those promotions can be very expensive. So you do find a lot of companies aren't able to meet that obligation. And so it's a common mistake where you send the product, so you find out it's not being promoted, the distributor is promoting other companies that are actually spending the funds to do so. And they tend to suffer a lot from that.
Oh, okay. And I know another common misconception many people have is they treat the United States as this large block when really it's the federal government, and then you have the very different states and the very, very different regions. When a company is doing their market research, should they look at each state individually or just use the United States as in its full capacity?
No, every state is different. Even the income level across states are different, right? So yes, you have to look at every state differently. The distribution models are different. The diaspora distribution is different, and the persons who buy our products are they are in different parts. So you have to look at each state differently, understand the regulations within each state, how to get your product within each state, because some markets are easier to get into than others in terms of logistics, etc. So you definitely have to look at how you're gonna get into each state and how you plan to work in each of them. So yes, it's different. So we encourage you to look and to treat them differently.
And how you mentioned the diaspora market, how does the Jamaican diaspora impact that market research?
So one of the key thing people buy is based on familiarity, right?
Mm.
So when Jamaican products are coming into the market, the first thing a distributor will say to you is, how is that product performing in Jamaica? So whenever I meet with distributors, they say, okay, you want us to buy this new product or promote this new product, but let us see how it's doing in the market. So that familiarity is what drives the distributor interest in selling this product within the market. So it's very important that we start by getting into distribution, and that creates many opportunities. One of the opportunities you will find going in is once you start, these distributors start to sell this product, it creates now an opportunity for you as a manufacturer to expand the type of products you're selling, infusing different flavors, infusing different types of stuff to actually give new and innovative products to the distributors to sell for you.
Interesting. I know at the top of I spoke about this trade war and these tariff escalations between the US and many of its major trading partners. Looking at that and other things, are you seeing any specific trends which could offer an opportunity for local businesses?
Yeah, I mean, we do still have a lot of treaty with America, which they're honoring. So I see an opportunity there. We can actually fill the gap. The challenge we're having is that we have to up our production to take advantage of many of these opportunities that are happening. We do see a lot of persons now looking near shore in terms of production, taking their manufacturing from Asia to this side of the world, so we can position ourselves to actually get some of those companies. Not everybody will come back onshore. Some will actually look at near shore. So we have to position ourselves to be there. As it relates to product, many of our products, I mean, our products, Jamaican products are very nice, unique, very flavorful. We have other countries doing similar products. I mean, they not be as good as the Jamaican products, but many companies are doing them. But it's best for us to actually grow our production to take advantage of the demands that are coming this way.
And on that same topic, should price be the major concern? Most people think that just because a good is more expensive, it will have a far more difficult time to compete, especially when we're talking about imports here in Jamaica compared to other countries heading into the US market. Should the price be the competitive factor only?
Well, surprisingly, there is a misconception that goods coming from Jamaica into this market, I mean, regardless of the price, people will buy it. And that's not true. People here, like everywhere else, are struggling. You have seen they have inflation problems, they have all sort of problems. People are watching their dollars. People are going to the supermarket. They have $100 they want to get the best value for their money. So at some point, the loyalty to brand is secondary. So you do find that pricing plays a very important role in things here. Manufacturers will tell you, or distributors will tell you that we like your Jamaican products, but the cost we're getting things from Jamaica is too high for them to even bring them in the market. I had an example where I was trying to get a company to bring Jamaica castor, and the person said to me that he wants to bring the castor, but the price he's getting from Jamaica per bottle, small bottle, it was $10, and he's getting it from another country and selling it at $3.50.
Mm.
So it's a great difference in prices, and because of that, he wasn't able to carry the Jamaican product. So price is very important, both from the buyers here and also from the distributors to get the products out there in the market.
Okay, and I know we've been talking about goods so far, but what about services? Is there any specific advice for people who are trying to export their services into the US market?
Oh yeah, I mean, services is something we see on the rise, and people are looking for other countries. But what is important, I'll say to a lot of service providers, is always have your referrals, the jobs you have done. Always have a nice list of things that people can refer to see what you have done. For other services, I also recommend you seek partnerships. Coming into this market, sometime it's best to partner with other companies who will give you some of their job eventually until you grow and build your reference base until you can branch out on your own. So those are some advice I say to companies to look at those when you're doing services in this market. So the referral is very important.
That is Shane Angus. He is the manager of the North American Regional Office of JAMPRO. Thank you, Shane, for those insightful tips into bridging that gap into the US market for Jamaican businesses.
All right. So thanks for having me. Good.